assumed it was a remote town with very little activity other than one or two people going about rejuvenating and getting on with some tourism. But I couldn't believe that it would be as picturesque, as well laid out and as functioning as it is. But when I realized the level of community services and upkeep of the town, it's hard to imagine when you have visited so many third world countries that it's possible, especially this far north. Everything works. So it's been a total revelation, and I think it's confirmed by the fact I've been here 9 months and have not left the confines of about 40 kilometers. And people say, oh, but there's Jokkmokk, there's Gallivare, there's Norway, there's the coast. I say, but this is such a wonder for me that it's taken me 9 months to even go to the ski resort, which I love. The activities, the sheer beauty of the changing seasons, wandering around town, cycling around town, snowmobiling across the lakes, and the people, of course. I find the people have been extraordinary at every level. And I think it's genuine. It's not they're being polite to me, an outsider. I think they're frontiers, youth here, young people with energy and purpose and skills. It's extraordinary. So it's been a wonder. And everyone you seem to meet is so forthcoming and capable. But of course, that's Sweden. I had no intention of coming to Sweden, although when I knew my brother through his Swedish contacts in the safari business in Africa, and that's the main link of all of us, had mentioned this wonderland that he discovered up in the north, and he would come as often as he could in the last 7 years, I think it is, and then bought a property 3 years ago and kept extolling the virtues of the winter wonderland. And I happened to arrive in the summer, which now, having had both seasons, is equally as endearing as the winter. But I was trying to get back to South Africa, where I live, sort of, in April last year, so exactly a year ago, and I couldn't. There was a lockdown and travel inward was prohibited. And my brother said, well, why not go to Sweden, where I have a house? And it took me hours, not days, to say yes. So I came early July for 3 weeks, and I'm still here. So the reason I'm still here is I don't want to leave. It's been an absolute wonder. And I'm not easily impressed. I think that's a statement I have to throw out. But there is nothing I've seen in Sweden, the peoples, not only the Swedes, but also the foreigners living here, that hasn't failed to impress me. I'll be here for many, many more years, yeah. Or as long as Sweden will allow me as well. Having been raised in Africa as a very young boy, we watched every early afternoon as our farm helpers were obligated to chop the wood because we had external fires that needed to be warmed up so we could all have baths. There's no electricity where we lived. And they used to chop wood every late afternoon. And I'm sure they looked at us in our smart school uniforms occasionally, jacket and tie, going to the big city and wondering, well, privilege perhaps, even education perhaps, that wasn't afforded to them. And I suddenly thought, here we are, 50 years later, and if only they could see me for the last 3 months of summer, I was chopping wood for 3 months. It was an offer made by a wonderful, I call him the unofficial mayor of Gunnarsbyn, and he said, listen, I've got a huge pile of unsightly wood, saplings or trees, and he said, a lot of the townsfolk are complaining about this unsightly, huge pile of trees. Would I be interested in chopping them up and getting rid of them? Everybody assuming I'd do it with a chainsaw. I, noticing the stillness of Gunnarsbyn, didn't want to disturb anyone, particularly as the pile is at the crossroads in the middle of town. So I went there the first day with a fairly small saw and started cutting 500 of these trees, or I started cutting the first. And within 15 minutes, 3 people had brought me more appropriate ones. That, and then this, so without which I couldn't have done anything. but I started with and I think I didn't have a workbench either. So it was a lot easier after the first morning. Not every day, but most days I was there. And I got bitten by mosquitoes. I got invited for fika by some of the residents, and they all saw me, and I couldn't help it. I was in the open, and it kept me very fit. And I'm so pleased I had that chance. So I don't know what they thought of me or who I was, especially in the latter days when I used a rather rusty wheelbarrow to bring my harvest back to the warehouse here and cross town 5 or 6 times a day with a wheelbarrow. But here we are. I'm no longer a woodcutter. An amusing incident happened halfway through. A car circled around where I was, and eventually a gentleman got out from a nearby town, and he said, "I've been watching what you've been doing. Would you like to come and cut one of our unsightly piles of timber 15 kilometers away?" And I declined. I didn't have transport, and time wouldn't permit, but there we are. Obviously someone thought I was an expert. As the summer waned, everyone said, "Oh, Christopher, you're not going to survive the winter. You need wood. You need 24-hour burning fire. It's at 5 degrees, it becomes uncomfortable." And I said, 5 degrees? And when 5 degrees came, it wasn't uncomfortable. "Oh no, but wait till it gets freeze. Wait till it freezes. You know, you're really going to need your fire burning all day." And it froze. I didn't need a fire all day. I know, but minus 15. That's going to be the trigger point. And it did get to minus 28. Unfortunately, not for long enough. So no, I haven't used all the wood. So I got through the winter, and I didn't suffer. It was wonderful. Gunnarsbyn, I think we had some nice concerts in the summer. There was the Oktoberfest, late summer, but some other concerts were arranged. Limited at the time to 50 in the audience, and I'm sure had it not been for the pandemic, there would have been many more, perhaps even hundreds, at these outdoor festivals. And the quality of entertainment was outstanding, and local singers and other entertainers coming up from the south. And so there was so much going on in the summer. It was wonderful. I forgot the berries. As the annual pickers hadn't arrived from overseas, there were carpets of berries everywhere, Lingen, Cloud, particularly the blueberries, which I love. In my waning days here, I'm desperately trying to make contacts with people and get a place of my own. And then I'll come back every year. I think it's irreversibly going through a renaissance. The whole of Norrbotten, even the limited geographical area I've witnessed, but I've been here a long time to form an opinion. I think it's the best kept secret globally. I've read a lot about places I haven't been to, and I read nothing about this place that I have lived in and been to. And of course there are quite a few photojournalists living in the area, very competent, with a global reach and a lot of energy behind their publications. And I think there's a slight warning, be careful what you wish for. I think this summer and winter 2021 is going to see a huge influx of both fun seekers, nature lovers, and adrenaline junkies, dare I say, because there's a few of those amongst us as well. And this is the perfect platform. People dream of kayaking on a lake, whitewater rafting, heaven forbid, fishing. Another huge benefit that isn't publicized but is obvious is the health benefits of clean air, clean living, clean water, lack of noise. Borealis, obviously, because there's no light pollution. There's an endless array of positives about this area that I think tourists and or immigrants like myself, would-be immigrant or my brother or others that have come to Gunnarsbyn will find irresistible. And I think with the energy of the locals who are involved in the tourist aspect, the guiding aspect, the demonstrative aspect of all the wonders of Norrbotten, I think you're going to get a stream of people coming in that's going to be hard to stop. There's a lot of investment has been made in some very well-known treehouse, ice plunge, and other worldwide famous northern Sweden locales but there are many, many others equally as endearing that have cropped up and will grow. And I see a deluge of the right type of visitors coming here. And of course, without promoting the area myself, I'm told that the local biggest airport, Luleå, 60, 80 kilometers away, an hour away, is now going to have direct flights from Paris, Berlin and London. So they're coming. Be ready. They're coming. And I think it's going to be good for everyone. It's not just the immediate guides and the experts, but all the secondary activities related to that, whether it's catering, whether it's hospitality, clothes, suppliers. It's going to be a wonderful recovery from 2020, I think.